boy. This is not working today. What's up, guys? It's Darcy, and I'm back with another video this week. Guys, this is crazy. Like, at the moment that I'm speaking right now, I have about 30 more subscribers until I get to 4,000. And less than 3 weeks ago, I had just made it to 1,000. So thank you so much. Like, I can't even begin to guess why the video got so many views. If you're curious what video I'm talking about, it's my tiny paintings video, and all of a sudden it just started blowing up on YouTube, and tons of people started commenting on it and liking it, and it's up to, I believe, 118,000 views right now, and still climbing. So I just can't thank you enough for the support. All the new subs, welcome. I hope you like my channel and enjoy what you see. For this video, I realized I haven't done a tutorial in so long, and I feel like I owe it to you guys to do another one. So I asked on Instagram what kind of a tutorial to do. I gave several options, and the two most popular options were watercolors and how to color skin. Skin won by a tiny little bit, and so that's what this video is about, but I will definitely do watercolors in a future video because so many of you were very interested in that. Plus, I feel more comfortable coloring skin for a tutorial. For the watercolors, I usually just kind of wing it, so I'll actually do some research for you guys before I do that video so that I can give accurate advice. For this one, I am going to be showing you how to color skin, and I'll be using Copic markers and Prismacolor pencils. So I hope you enjoy this video. The Mona Lisa painting is in the back. I'm very close to being done with that. So yeah, that was really random, but it's just right there. So I really hope you guys enjoy this video and hope it helps you. So let's go. Alright guys, so before I get into the tutorial, I wanted to let you know what paper and I am using. I love Strathmore paper. It works well for colored pencils and Copics for me. And this is their drawing paper, as you can see. Really nice paper. It has the right thickness for me. And even if you want to use markers on it, I do sometimes use it on the side with texture, but it might even work better on the back side because they have a textured side and then a smooth side. And I just think it's a perfect paper all around for many different types of materials. Alright, so we'll start with the lighter side of the skin. So I don't know why, I just always seem to go for the crease right beneath the eyebrow and right above the eye. And for this picture, I'll be using red as a shadow color and several other colors, probably purple and dark brown. Now the eyelid itself is usually a lot lighter than all of the skin around it because it protrudes a little bit more. And of course that depends on what kind of eyelids somebody has. Sometimes people have bigger eyelids than other people, but typically the eyelids are lighter. Underneath the bottom lip there's usually a slight shadow, so I'll do it there too, and at the corners of the mouth. In the nose, of course, there's a shadow too. A lot of people think it may look black, but one rule in art that it's a loose rule, you can definitely break it, but a good guideline to go by is to try not to use black as much as you can because it makes the picture look flat. So I try not to use black when I'm shading. If I really need a dark color and that extra boost of black would help, then I may use a little bit. So now along the edges of the hair there will be a shadow because it's overlapping the skin, and even on the edge of the face because, as you know, the face isn't a flat object like this paper is. The face curves. So say the light for this project, we'll pretend that the light is coming from the front. So when the light comes from the front, the parts that are protruding out towards the front are highlighted, and the parts that curve back away from the light will have shadows on them. Now I'll use a little bit of red since I used that as a shadow for this area. And since it's a bit lighter than purple, I don't want this area to be too darkly shaded, but there is a shadow there right next to the bridge of the nose. So I'm going to use a little bit of red to shade that. And also around this area, there's usually a tiny little shadow at the corner of the eye. Add some more underneath the nose. There. And then we'll go along this edge again. And then I'll even go down to the chin this time, just a little bit. So now this color is less of a common color, but it is called peach, sort of a pinkish skin tone. So I'm going to go over this part and kind of blend these together. We don't want her to have a distinct purple line on the side of her face, so that's where blending comes in handy. So now I'm going to give a little shadow to this area. This is definitely more highlighted than the parts around it as well. As we said, the crease where the eyelid is has a definite shadow, but then just above that it gets slightly lighter. So I'll put this color there because it has somewhat of a shadow, but it's not the lightest thing or the darkest thing on the face. So smooth that out, and we can go back and make this transition between purple and peach a bit smoother later. So now I'm going to go along the bridge of the nose a little bit more and give that more of a shadow. It's darker, it's typically darker where the corner of the eye is, between the bridge of the nose and the corner of the eye, and then it usually gets a bit lighter when you come out. So that's why I'm using a lighter color here instead of the red that I used right here. Along the corner of the nose there is a shadow, and I should probably make that darker. So before I forget, I'm going to use a bit of purple for that area, and also a bit of red. And then I'll go underneath the nose a bit more with the red. Okay, and back with the peach color. I'm not getting the very highlighted parts of the face, which would be right here, and even a little bit right here, because I want to save that for a lighter color. And if I do color this, I could just bring it back. I can make it lighter with white. So I'll continue coloring with peach. The cheek comes out a bit farther than this part of the face, so I will color that a bit with the peach color and continue right here. So we have, and I'm getting lighter as I continue. Now I'm going to actually erase this line right now to show you coloring the nose in a light skin tone. There is a highlight usually on the tip of the nose, so I'll outline that a little bit for you. It's usually right there. And it gets darker because the nose curves under right here, and of course it curves back. So these parts right here are usually further back on the face than this middle part right here. So I'm going to color those really lightly with this peach color and leave the center of the nose for the lighter color or even white, and just color darkly right here. Okay, so back to this side of the picture. I'm going to do the neck now, and then I'll be ready to move on to a lighter color. I need to bring some red into this to help make the transition from purple to peach be a little bit smoother. So I'll use that there, and also put some on the side of the neck, since the neck curves back just like this part of the face does. And I'm using the same technique with the red, darker right here and slightly coloring lighter whenever I come to the front part. And now I can use this color and color over everything to blend it. Okay, and then I'm going to go over the eyelid a little bit in the middle here to give that more of a highlight. Need to add a little bit more shadow right there. And then go back over a little bit more to blend even more with this peach color. So there is light skin for you. And now I'll go to dark. So with dark skin, I go about it pretty much the same way. I just use darker colors, and as I said, sometimes I will sneak a little bit of black in there. So I will do that just slightly for now, and I may come back later and add a bit more black. So I'm just going to use it very lightly under here, and it'll become more of a shadow when I add more colors on top of it and when I blend it in. When you're drawing shadows, try to think about the movement of the picture. Like, the hair isn't always going to be plastered on the face. Sometimes it'll be flowing out a little bit more, so it'll leave more of a shadow. Sometimes it will be closer to the face, so the shadow will be shorter. Sorry guys, I'm having trouble talking right now. Also, the neck won't always have a super dark shadow underneath it. It depends on how much light there is, because it does get a little bit complicated when you're thinking about lighting. I'm kind of at the point where I just go with what feels right, what looks right. But you know, sometimes you have more than one light source. There can be light coming from the top here, the side, the bottom, you know, all over the place. So just kind of give that some thought. Don't stress over it too much. Don't forget to think a little bit, at least, about where your shadows would logically be placed. And now I'll bring out some of this warmer brown. So this does not leave as much of a dramatic shadow as the sepia does, but that's good because it brings more color to the face, whereas the sepia almost looks like just a lighter black. Okay. So now I'm going to come out with an even lighter color, and that is terracotta, or any light brown you want to use. This is more of a slightly red light brown. And I'm just going back over the darker colors so that I can make the transition more smooth. I forgot to add more of a highlight right here for the cheek, but that can be easily fixed with some white or just some lighter color. So I'm going to leave that be, and when I add the highlight, I'll go over that and make it a bit lighter. Okay, and now on this drawing, for my lightest color, I'm gonna probably be using a mix of things. For now, I'll be using the peach, but I may want to make the skin tone darker after I do so. So I'm going to go back over that with brown. And I'm actually probably going to go back over the whole face with this brown. It's less dark right now because I'm going over the peach tone, and so that works out perfectly. And now I'm going to go back and add a few more shadows using purple this time, because I feel like it could use that extra color in there. All it is just tons and tons of layering until you get the color to where you want. I'm constantly going over this with darker and lighter colors, darker, lighter colors, darker, lighter colors, over and over again until I think it looks better, the best that I can do. I need to go back and make this shadow along the bridge of the nose a little bit more defined. And now I'm going to use the colorless blender again. By using that, I actually took away a little bit of the color. So I'm going to go back to this part. So there is the darker skin tone, and many of the same rules, the same rules do apply to all different types of skin tones. Use darker colors for shadows, but not just one darker color, several darker colors, and continue that gradient until you get to the middle color, which for this drawing was peach for the lighter skin tone, and sienna brown for the darker skin tone. Get to that middle color and color most of the picture with that, including going back over the shadow parts to make it blend out smoother, and then coming in with the lightest color and color all the highlight places. I'm going to do a little bit more on this. I'm actually going to go back with some white. I need to just leave this picture be. I keep seeing things that I can change, and I get obsessive compulsive, and I'm not really OCD, but you know, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I'm gonna leave it, I guess, how it is right there. And now I will show you how to use Copics. So now I'll show you how I color skin with Copic markers, and to keep things fair, I'm going to do a skin tone that's slightly in between these two, more of a tannish skin tone. So I'm going to start with some purple as my base. I'm going to go along the edge of the neck, just slightly. And then underneath the lips, as usual, the nostrils, this little thing, I don't know what it's called, this little indentation beneath the nose. I'm going to actually go under the nose slightly with this color and along the nose creases. And where the hair overlaps the skin, I'm going to put a shadow in. This hair is a little bit more wavy than this hair was, so the shadow will be a little bit extended, I guess is the word. It'll be a little bit deeper. And along the side of the face as usual. Then I'll add the typical shadow here along the eyelid and between the corner of the eye and the bridge of the nose. And then slightly right here. I don't want to give that too much because this is a rather dark color. This is E15, and technically it's called dark suntan. So I'm just going to go over the purple and then come out also onto the white space a little bit more than the purple does. And I'll go over the chin to give that a slight shadow. Now it's definitely easier to go outside the lines with Copic markers more than it is with color pencils, Right here, if I were gonna continue to color the hair, then all these little places where I went out of the lines would be covered up. So I'm not really worried about that part as much. If I went out of the lines, say here, and this background was white, then I would use my white gel pen to cover that up. And then I'm going to fill in this little space here between the eyebrow and the eyes. I'm going to extend that lip line a little bit more as well. Okay, she's looking a little strange right now, but we're going to fix that real quick. This is, let's see, let's just test this a little bit. All right, this will be my middle color, like the peach was for the lighter skin tone and the sienna brown was for the darker skin tone. So I'm going to be coloring a lot of the skin with this color and going back over the previous colors as well. Same rule applies with Copics as it does with pencils, and even more so with these Copic markers, because going back over the colors that were previously laid on the page really help the markers blend together better. And the more you go over it, the more it'll blend. I'm going to give a little bit of definition to this front part of the nose, and then color the back part of the nose. It's easier to make pencil lighter than it is to make Copic marker or any other markers lighter, so it's just better not to color in the parts that you want to be highlighted. Now this area where, right here along the bottom of the eyebrow line, is usually actually slightly darker. I forgot to add that here, but I'll just do it here on this picture. It's usually slightly darker than the nose down here is, because the nose juts forward as it's going down. So it'll be gradually lighter until it gets to the tip, which is the lightest part. And then I'll leave this part for a highlight. Okay, so there's my middle color. And a lighter color than that, a step up, is E11. Now I'm going to go in with some R20, basically pink, and give her skin a little bit different, a little bit more variety of colors. I usually put a little bit of pink on the cheeks, the nose, tiny bit on the forehead, maybe around the eyes a little bit, and on the chin. Okay, and then now I'll use E00 as my highlight color. And I'm going to color out to be able to blend it. Just get around those edges, make it as smooth as possible. And I'm going to color over even parts that it won't show up on, just to make the marker smooth. So there's the rough form of it. It's not as smooth, I guess, as I would like it to be, so I'm going to use the colorless blender for the Copic markers. So I'm going to go over everything and try to make everything just blend even smoother with the colorless blender. These shadows around the edges aren't as dark as I would like them to be, so I'm going to try a few shadow colors to change that. I'm using the warm gray W3 first. Just darken up all these other shadows. And I'll come back in with some more of this dark suntan, just to bring the color back a little bit. Uh-oh. I just made a mark on my paper. Maybe I'll be able to fix that though. Alright, let's try to fix this. I'm going to bring a lighter color and try to push this color away a little bit. That pretty much fixed it for the most part. There is a medium skin tone with Copic markers, a lot of the same type of stuff as I did over here with the Prismacolor pencils, but just slightly a different way of coloring, and you have to keep a few more things in mind, like they're markers. You can't erase them, you can't make them lighter as easily as you could with these. Although Copics are pretty good. As you saw, I was able to push the color away with a lighter marker, and it really worked pretty well. So there you have it. Three different skin tones, 2 different materials used to color them. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And also, if you are not subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want more videos like this. I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll be back again next week with another video for you all.